All right. Good afternoon. Let's go straight to my guest. We're going to be joined now by James Donahoo from Lawrence Electric. Thank you for holding as long as you did, sir.
No problem.
So, can you give us an update on what's going on in the area that you guys are covering? I live in it, by the way, so I would be very interested to hear that. How's it going for Lawrence Electric?
Yes, Bill. I can give you a little bit of background on the storm and what we're faced with. But
yes,
first,
sir.
I'll tell you, at this point right now, we have restored to almost 27,000 of our members. That represents about 42% of our total membership base. So we're still at 58% without power. I can tell you that the crews worked through the night, and over the night we were able to restore additional power to 2,000 more members. We got another substation back online, so now from a substation perspective, we have 17 out of 32 substations that are back online.
When at the beginning of this, you only had 3, so you brought 14 back online in a very short amount of time.
Yes, and I can tell you that beginning Friday morning, and we have never in our 85-year history, we have never seen any event of this magnitude. We were at a peak of 98% without power Friday morning. I can tell you that there's a lot of different factors that come into play there. And typically here, we pride ourselves in getting the power back on quickly during storms. But this one, was just a completely different animal. When you have high winds of 70 miles per hour knocking down transmission lines, distribution lines, it just creates a catastrophic event. So when you have the majority of the transmission service in the upstate offline, and then you couple that with here at the co-op, we well over 200 broken poles, down hundreds of miles of down circuits. That type of catastrophe takes time to rebuild and replace. So that's the type of situation that we are in, and it's just so much different than what we're used to.
Right.
With ice storms that are more concentrated, but this one, it devastated our system.
I read somewhere like with the broken pole, and I saw a lot of broken poles when I was driving around off of Highway 14. What does it take, about 4 hours for a team to put up or is it 6 to put up a new pole?
It does, Bill. On average, depending on where and what pole, it's going to take anywhere from 2 to 4 hours per pole. So when you have that going on, a lot of times you talk about the restoration process.
Right.
But with this particular event, we're in a rebuild process, so it is going to impact recovery time.
Well, so when a tree takes down a pole, the first thing you got to do is kill the power, get rid of the tree, replace the pole, and I'm sure there's some sort of testing you've got to do. And that probably happened in a chain event, so it's not just a pole and it's not just a tree. It's probably a bunch of trees and a bunch of poles. That takes time, and it's taking these teams. They got to be safe while they're doing it too, don't they?
They do, and there's always safety debriefing. So when you see trucks that are in idle, that are parked, 9 times out of 10, what they're doing is debriefing on their next project, safety debriefing and things like that. So that's that's very crucial. And the other thing that makes this very challenging is that we still have this is day 4.
Yes, sir.
We still have limited accessibility in some areas, so we're still cutting through debris to find out exactly what we have in place. So when I say we have over 200 poles broken right now, that number is, I'll say in counting, because that number is certainly going to go up.
Now, do you have, and I was looking this up, now do you have 152 man teams out there right now working in shifts trying to get this put back together? Did I read that right?
So at this point right now, we have 150 crews representing about 300 line technicians, right-of-way workers. We do have plans and have another 100 personnel coming in today, tonight, and tomorrow to help with this. Those crews are coming from within South Carolina, some from Florida, and so that is certainly going to help. But and that is going to be we're going to be asking for more and more. So we're going to continue to do that. I can tell you also that these line workers are highly motivated, they're highly skilled, they're highly competent, and they are going to work as hard and as fast as they can to get the power restored. I can tell you we don't like this. I mean, we don't like this at all. I can tell you our line workers don't like it. I know their families don't like it. The majority of our employees are still without power, and we can see. I can tell you, we can see firsthand the struggles that our members are facing, with this natural disaster. And so I can assure that we are 100% dedicated to get the power back on as fast and as safe as we possibly can.
I would imagine in the utility world, this is the equivalency of a wartime situation for you, because you guys have got to roll out. You got to do you got a bunch of plates in the air at the same time, because you got to be fast, you got to be efficient, you got to be safe. And at the same time, everybody's waiting on you to get it back on the air. If anybody sees your teams out there, what would you ask they do when they see your teams out there working? Just leave them alone and let them do their job?
Yes, that was yes. Just stay clear of them if you can. There's a method to what we're doing. There's a process that goes on. And so, and I get it. I get it. If I don't understand, sometimes I might wonder, well, why are they just sitting in a parking lot? And what they're doing is, as you can imagine, there's tremendous amount of communication and coordination that goes on.
Yeah.
To restore power and to restore, but to rebuild entire circuits. So yes, that's a good suggestion.
I would imagine that your guys, they get out there and they have a private. They're just not going out there saying, okay, get in the truck, and when you see something down, fix that. They have a place to go. They have a task to accomplish when they get there. They know what they're about to face. For these people out here who don't understand why these places that have buried lines lose power, those places that have buried lines that lose power, they're fed by lines above ground, right?
Yes, and it shows you how devastating this storm was, because typically, even if you have underground in the subdivisions into neighborhoods, you have big main circuits that are feeding from substations, to those electric points, and those lines have been destroyed. Typically, in what we see here in the upstate with those big circuits, they can withstand the ice storms that we have, but with the amount of wind and destruction that we had with this storm, it just brought all those circuits down, and then now have to be rebuilt.
Yeah, this for you. In the utility sense, this was like a carpet bombing, wasn't it? You have to go out there and rebuild whole certain parts of this to get it back together, don't you?
That's correct. And then, into our lower service area, our lower counties, Lawrence County, some Spartanburg County, Abbeville. As we move into the rural areas, we are working absolutely just as hard to restore power on that part of our system. That is a bigger challenge. That is a harder challenge. You are faced with a lot more damage. You have a lot more exposed power lines. The power lines are longer. You have a lot more trees, and then we're also faced with, we still have some transmission that is offline in those areas.
Right.
So we are working as hard and as fast as we can. And we don't, there is no favorites. We are, we have priorities for, emergency purposes. Other than that, I can tell you our mission is to get everybody back on as fast as we can. And our employees, our linemen, like I said, they are dedicated, and there is nobody that cares more about getting power back on than the line workers. And that's not at Lawrence Electric. That's at Duke. That's at Broad River. That's at Blue Ridge.
Right.
That's at all the utilities in the upstate.
Speaking with Jim Donahoo from Lawrence Electric Co-op, as we go forward, and I'm not going to ask you for any sort of estimate because I know that this is a fluid situation that continues to evolve and develop for you. You guys are going to be at this till it's solved, aren't you?
We are, and we want to be as open, as transparent as possible. And so, it is very difficult to give any type of estimated restoration just because of the sheer destruction. But I can say is that in Lawrence County, the lower part of Lawrence County, some Spartanburg County, Abbeville, Newberry, I would prepare. I'd make preparations. It's most likely going to go into the weekend.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've been, I was in the military, and I spent out of a 36-month tour, I spent 25 months of that in the field. So doing without electricity just means I have to squint. But beyond that, I'm not trying to make light of anything that's going on. You guys are, I've seen the work you're doing. I think you guys are doing a splendid job. And if possible, if this doesn't continue on, I'd like to invite you to come back on the show and give us another update as we continue in this process.
Yes, Bill, absolutely, anytime. There's two things that we want to make certain that our members know. One is we're going to work as hard and as fast as we can to get the power back on as safe and as fast as possible. And number two, that we are going to do everything we can to be transparent, open, and to communicate as much as we can. We want to make sure we want to keep our members informed. We know, like I said, we know the struggles that are going on, and so our mission is to do those two things.
Well, I know you have an interactive map that's out there, and I know that I've been checking it, and I've been seeing the updates on it, and I know you guys are working as fast as you can. Word to the wise, if you see Lawrence Electric Co-op out there working in your area, let them go. Let them do the job. They're expediting the process as fast as they can. Jim Donahoo, Lawrence Electric Co-op, thank you for joining me today, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Bill.
Shortly, we got Sheriff Hobart Lewis coming up. This is News Talk 98.9 WORD.